many of you have ever been a dinner guest somewhere and found yourself in an awkward situation regarding proper table manners? There's the tense moment when someone is critically observing. Which fork do you use when you have 3 of them? Do you pass the food to the right or to the left? What happens when the necktie dips into the soup? What do you do with the piece of chicken that cannot be chewed or swallowed? These are just a couple of embarrassing scenarios for the self-conscious guest around the table. Where one sits and with whom one sits at the table can also be a matter of concern. If you think that preoccupation has gone away, just ask a couple getting ready for a wedding reception. They will tell you that this single task of organizing table seating drives up the stress level a notch or two. Ask families how they fit everyone around the Thanksgiving dinner celebration. Which adults will sit at the children's card table in the living room?
Not me.
And who will sit next to Grandma and Grandpa? Well, Jesus steps into these embarrassing situations with us. He finds himself as a guest at a dinner party. Jesus loved dinner parties. The host is an important man, a leader with power to win friends and influence people. There is no shortage of guests, for people want to be present for this party. It's the kind of invitation you leave magneted on the refrigerator for months afterward so others can see where you've been. Okay, the hors d'oeuvres are nearly gone, and proper greetings have been exchanged. It comes time to take a seat at the table. I like to think that Jesus was wonderfully engaged in conversation with 2 or 3 others and sees them begin to get edgy as the best seats get filled up quickly. He sees the gentle elbowing, not too obnoxious, but assertive enough to stake out the best places around the table. These folks are still conversing with Jesus, but their eyes cut to the prominent places at the table. He senses the distraction. With a wry smile and a twinkle in his eye, Jesus stops all the guests in their tracks and tells a story. I like the way Eugene Peterson retells Jesus' parable in The Message. When someone invites you to dinner, don't take the place of honor. Somebody more important than you might have been invited by the host. Then he'll come and call out in front of everybody, "You're in the wrong place. The place of honor belongs to this person." Red-faced, you'll have to make your way to the very last table, the only place left. When you're invited to dinner, go and sit at the last place first. And then when the host comes, he may very well say, "Friend, come up to the front." That will give the dinner guests something to talk about. What I'm saying is this: if you walk around with your nose in the air, you're going to end up flat on your face. But if you're content simply to be yourself, you will become more than yourself. The question posed to Jesus' dinner companions and to us is this: am I going to be comfortable wherever I end up sitting at this dinner? In other words, am I secure in who I am and in my relationship with the host? Will I enjoy the presence of the host and guests, even if I find myself in the living room at the card table? Am I secure with who I am, as I am, and whose I am, God's very own? For the Lord, both our guest and host will make the time to hop around to every place of seating. Most times, a good host will make a special point of carving out time with the guest who is most distant on the seating chart. That's the job of the host. Brothers and sisters, these aren't easy questions for us. They raise issues of the relationship between humility and self-esteem. If we need to run to the front seats, it may indicate arrogance. But if arrogance really comes from insecurity, when we feel we are greater than others, it is really the flip side of feeling that we are lesser than others. If we need to hide in the back row, it may simply be self-denigration or sinful timidity that hides from God's creative gifts and shrinks from the boldness that a situation requires to exercise those gifts. But when we trust deeply that the ultimate host, that is God, values and loves us, then we can be reasonably secure whether we end up at the head table or the card table. In God's presence, humility and self-esteem are not opposites. They're in dialogue with each other. In fact, they are results of the same thing. Humility is to know that God is God and I am not God. Humility is also to know that God has created, loved, forgiven, and called me to celebrate and serve in His kingdom. It is to know that God has provided special purpose and meaning for my unique life. Self-esteem is to know and accept deep within that I have utmost value because God bestows that value upon me. It is to believe God's promise that I am loved, cherished, and called to purpose and meaning in my life. Brothers and sisters, we cannot be truly humble without a reasonably healthy sense of self-worth. Nor can we possess a healthy self-worth without humility in the recognition of the need of others. Humility and self-esteem will grow together as a result of our trust in God, the host of hosts, who makes the rounds to every single seat around the table. And around God's table of grace and celebration, there are really no bad seats. Thanks be to God.